Okay. Hope that's not too loud. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for the assistance. So my name is Nick Garofolo. Welcome to our initial presentation in Florida of the MyHana platform. MyHana has been designed to engage and educate parents who have a child with autism, and at some point in time we will move on to other disabilities. But before I dive deep into that and have my constituents here with me help me with that, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I'll be quick. I spent 35 years in the financial services industry, left in the early 2000s. I find myself here doing this because I've suffered from a chronic condition my entire life. I'm legally blind, totally blind in one eye, walk with a cane, and I have found that my experience, though I was able to navigate it pretty well, I looked at the experiences of other parents with children with other conditions, and my wife, Diane, who's with me tonight, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her, decided to spend some of our time and financial resources on bringing a product to the autism community. So that's how I ended up here tonight. What's the problem? We know that autism is a very complicated condition. We know there's many comorbidities that come with it, and it's a lifelong journey, and parents experience many challenges. There's emotional, financial, educational, and communal challenges that they face on a daily basis. And what you'll see tonight is our solution in helping parents manage many of these challenges. But when you look around the community as a whole, my team and I have identified some problems that we want to focus on, and that's another reason we're doing what we're doing here. Number one, there's tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars interjected into the community through philanthropy every year, through nonprofits and other entities and support groups. Some are great, some may not be as good. What we find is that to see, specifically in the state of Florida and many other states, with tens, if not hundreds of thousands of parents still sitting on waiting lists and all of this money interjected into this community, we ask ourselves, how is this possible? And to us, it's unacceptable. Hence, what you'll see tonight is what we believe is our solution and our way of addressing what we believe are the problems in the community. So, emotional, financial, education, communal stress. How do we handle it? Well, the first thing we do is we try and educate parents. We do that with some very high-level intellectuals who are part of our faculty. They bring workshops and webinars to the platform, and these are people who are highly sought after, who have come on board to work with us to bring their high-level services, which are very often very, very expensive, and bring them down and make them affordable to everybody. That's pretty much what we're about here. Other services also we'll talk about later, democratizing access and giving everyone access to services that everybody, not just a choice few who can afford it, should have. Everybody should have the services that we're going to talk about tonight. So our workshops and webinars, again, you'll see a lot of support groups and agencies doing workshops and webinars. We believe that the team that we've assembled get right to the core of the everyday problems. And most of the workshops and webinars that you will see come through the MyHana platform are a result of engaging the community, finding out what parents' problems are. This isn't build it, they will come. This is about being engaged with our community, finding out what problems may be at certain times of year, Christmas, the holidays. Some of your family members might not understand how to engage with your child. Getting ready for camps in the summer, getting ready for school in the fall, what are the hot button issues at certain times of the year? So the workshops and webinars are pretty much a standard practice here. What I want to show you is, and we didn't put this in our presentation, I'm going to get a little funky here. This here is a list of all of the doctors, case managers, behavioral therapists, lawyers, attorneys, financial assistants, special needs transportation, special needs trusts, special needs dentists, haircuts. These are all the people that families need to engage with through the entire journey, and collecting all the information and data that is extracted from having to be involved with all these people is a voluminous amount of work. Hence, we created two important parts of the platform. My Navigator, a proprietary tool that we developed that gives parents the ability to build multiple teams for them to connect with. A clinical and behavioral team of doctors and therapists, financial and legal services team, an educational team, teachers, speech therapists, IEP specialists, and finally, a family team. What's the relevance of that? Keeping them connected, sharing information that's vital for them to know to help create a better outcome for your child. So what we do after that is we give you the ability to collect all of that information in a secure, cloud-based platform to keep all of your documents. We don't sell any of the data that we have. We never share any information with other companies. Our data is held in the cloud, and it's HIPAA compliant. Anything that you go and upload into the platform, you can put into your own files, seamlessly share them with any of the individuals that are part of your care teams. Again, any one of the 3 or 4 teams that you may create. So you could also connect goals that you will create that will come out of the curriculum, which I'll get to in a second. Also, there's a very easy to use calendar, so everybody on your team is always on board and always knows everything that's going on. Why is all that important? Children grow up, they go to college, some children go to homes, to group homes, and having everybody who's engaged at any time with your child having information in your iPad or on that phone is a godsend for those who are going to be caring for your child and for you to stay connected with your child at any point in their journey when they do leave their home. And what's more important, what we have found, every parent wants an independent future for their child. So keeping all their information and data during the journey is very, very important for creating that independent future. Lastly, we've built a series of courses and curriculum that have been designed by our team. We have a great team of people working with us. Scott Badish, who worked at ASA, Ven Sequenzio, who ran ASA Florida, Sue Wardy's here tonight, Sarah Sequenzio's here, and we also have some people all over the country who are giving us important information that we need to build curriculum and courses. Lastly, everybody should be able to have access to legal and financial assistance that in many cases today is not affordable. So what we have found is a team of attorneys, people who do trusts, who are willing to participate on our platform and give parents the ability to get access to special needs trusts, wills, most importantly guardianship. You'll hear a story about guardianship when Steve presents here. And in many instances, these things are not affordable today. And we are democratizing access to give parents the ability to have those services that not just a choice few deserve, everyone deserves, and everyone should have access to. Social Security, you need to fill out Social Security forms. Sometimes people don't understand or know how to do that. Scott, who works with us, who ran ASA for years, will do that for $200. In many instances, attorneys charge $1,000 to $1,500. Sarah is working on a very advanced initiative in having parents understand IEP. It's done through curriculum, and there'll be some other courses and presentations that Sarah will be making. So when you look at this, this is a very robust platform that's built for a lifelong journey. I guess that's pretty much about it at this point here. I'd like to hand this over to my interim CEO, Steve Carter. And before I do, I want to thank everybody on my team. Steve, I couldn't do this without everybody. My wife, Diane, Steve Carter, Ven Sequenzio, Sarah Sequenzio, and others who are not here. Sue Wattell, Scott Badish, and many, many other people who are part of our faculty. So this is, and I might have dreamt this up, but I couldn't do it without everybody else here. So thank you all for attending, and if you have any questions, you can come and see me after. I'll hand it over to Steve.
Thank you, Nick. Hey, thank you guys again for attending. We do appreciate it. And also thank you to Braden, who's a big part of the team that Nick forgot twice. Yes, I just want to make sure that we realize Braden's here. Next up is Ven. Ven's going to kind of talk about why he joined the team and why he finds the Mayana product so important. Ven?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. And if you could, put your phones on vibrate just so this is being recorded, and that way we don't hear a bunch of ringing and dinging like we've been hearing. So I know I always forget to do mine. So why did I get involved with Mayana? So I'll start back. I have a 37-year-old daughter with autism and epilepsy. I also have 3 stepchildren. 2 of them have disabilities as well. I've been advocating for families for 35 years. I helped start different nonprofit organizations that work with developmental disabilities. I've served on state committees, task forces. Also, I was the president of the Autism Society of Florida for 18 years, retired a couple years ago. I was advocating when the personal computer was just invented. I was trying to look at the different things of like, if we had something like this. And to make it really feel old, about 5 years before the World Wide Web was invented is when I started advocating. So that gives you an idea of how long. I've been around it a long time. In 1999, my daughter was on the original APD waiting list. And back then, it wasn't APD, it was DCF. APD didn't even exist yet, not until Governor Bush came on. And he actually settled a lawsuit. The state of Florida was being fined $10,000 a day by the federal government for having a waiting list. It's kind of interesting when you look at what's happening today. And Governor Bush came in and he actually got rid of the original waiting list. And my daughter was on that first one for about 10 years. Now we're sitting here today, 20 plus years later, and we're back up to almost 25,000 on a new waiting list that exists. And legislature did increase funds this last session, which you heard Barbara Palmer mention earlier, and also the governor, to take about 2,000 to 3,000 people off the waiting list of the real critical needs. But we're still talking about over 20,000 on a waiting list. And so going to where I am now, Scott Badish, who was the president of the Autism Society of America, reached out to me. He retired, I think, in 2019. And he reached out to me and told me to look into this platform. He thought it would be something that could be really beneficial for families. And so I started to look at it. And I know, sorry I have these pages, but I'm old and I can't remember anything. So, and he filled me in on how it could help families. And to me, the first thing I thought of was people on the wait list. And that doesn't mean everybody can't benefit from it. But if you're sitting around waiting for services for 5, 7, 10 years, this is a way to get something started. And if you got children that are younger, the younger you get started, the easier it is, because obviously you can start doing these things online, start gathering your documents online instead of having file boxes like I have. And actually, I've been working lately. I've been actually transferring my stuff up to the My Navigator storage cabinet, because I still to this day have to reach out. I have stuff with Social Security, I have stuff with APD. Every time I turn around, somebody needs some document, and it never ends. So, I mean, you all know that if you've been around it. How many in here are parents? How many in here are educators and parents? I know some are both. They both kept their hands up. Any other professions? Speech therapists, occupational therapists? So we got a little. All right, and friends, yes. Thanks for being here. Behavior therapists. And how about people on the spectrum? Okay, I always consider myself to be on a little bit, but anyway. So I wish I had this for my daughter when she was 3 and 4 and 5, because obviously I could have done a lot of things with it. So Steve's going to come up here and show you exactly how this operates. He did a pre-recorded video. And just so you know, this guy, he's 24/7. Every time I talk to him, he's, I'm going to be up at 4 o'clock working on this. So he is so committed, and he's got to tell you a little bit about himself too. So.
Thank you, Ben. All right, my plan was to do a live demo, but I love this product so much that it probably would have just drawn on and gone for about 40 minutes because there's so much in here to show you. So I recorded it today. Please, it's about 15 minutes long, and I think you get a much better idea of what we're offering here.
Hi and welcome. I'm Steve Carter from MyHana, here to talk to you today about some of the key features that separate MyHana from other services and providers, and even some nonprofits and associations in the market today. My goal today is to leave you with an understanding of how MyHana is going to transform the way you engage with your child on a daily basis, and how using our platform will give you access to resources and individuals you may have never known existed. All right, let's just jump right into the demo. Please give me a second while I log in to MyHana. All right, when you log into MyHana, you're taken right to your dashboard. The first feature I'd like to draw your attention to is our webinars, workshops, and support groups. When we started MyHana, we interviewed a lot of leaders in the autism field, and what we noticed is that when we brought the information back to our focus groups, a lot of the people had never even heard of the person. We were baffled. How would this individual, a leader in the field for autistic care, who could make a huge impact in this parent's life and how they interact with their child, was a complete unknown. So then we explained to the parents about these professionals and the services they provided. Each of the parents wanted to know more. This is where we ran into our second problem. Because these people were top in their field, they were extremely sought after. Meeting them was cost prohibitive for most, not to mention the need to travel. That's when we realized we could hire these individuals to be faculty for MyHana. By moving them outside of the physical world and into our digital world, we were able to offer access to these individuals and basically democratize the information they have to share with our entire MyHana community. So let's navigate to the workshops. And here's just a quick example of our faculty. Dr. Jim Ball works all over the country and has published a number of books. He's helped countless numbers of children, and he's part of the MyHana faculty. Here's a quick summary of his upcoming winter webinars that are interactive for our members. Imagine being able to ask Dr. Jim Ball questions, getting those answers, and then benefiting from the questions of others as well. As you can see here, we've got about 10 webinars this quarter from Dr. Jim Ball, starting with increase the knowledge base of successful toilet training, understand specific techniques for assisting individuals on the autism spectrum in the transition process, even enhance the social skills of individuals on the autism spectrum. Just some amazing stuff here. Another member of the MyHana faculty is Dr. Jed Baker. Maybe some of you have even read some of Dr. Baker's books. He, much like Dr. Ball, has a national following and is producing all these upcoming webinars for MyHana, setting up behavioral intervention plans, handling waiting, disappointments, and changes in expecting schedules or routines. I mean, just some great content coming from Dr. Baker. To round out this quarter's MyHana faculty, we have Mary Beth Ames, a veteran speech professional. She too will be providing a number of different webinars for our MyHana community this quarter. Visual imagery, habitual dysphagia. And one of the great things about the MyHana platform is that it continues to expand both with content and faculty. All of our webinars are recorded and indexed for future reference. Also, the faculty produce curriculum that is more granular and on a day-to-day level for our members. But we'll discuss that in more detail in a bit. In addition to the webinars, we also have workshops. So if we go back to the dashboard, we can easily navigate to the workshops and support groups. And as you can see, here's a quick example of just a few of our previous workshops. We've got visual schedules, differential reinforcement, and again, all these are indexed and recorded for you. In addition, we do a lot of workshops where we break them into two groups. We split the two groups into caregivers of children under 12 and caregivers of children 12 and over. We feel this is an important distinction since the challenges are so different. We want to tailor the sessions to the individual's needs. Also, we sometimes partner with other organizations to provide information on a much larger scale. When COVID hit, we actually partnered with the Autism Society of America to provide the latest information that could help individuals on the spectrum and their caregivers. We did a number of these with Chris Banks, the CEO of the Autism Society of America. Again, all of our workshops are run by either a BCBA, OT, PT, or speech professional. Once again, they're all interactive, recorded, and indexed for your future reference. Now for the last piece of this feature, our support groups. Our support groups are held 2 times a week at different times to facilitate the greatest availability to our members. These two are proctored by BCBAs, OTs, PTs, and speech professionals. They seek to query our members base to find out what people need help with and what best practices we can provide. We have had amazing response to these and hope to have some of the faculty participate as well. Now on to one of the most innovative tools in the MyHana arsenal, the Navigator. I really do have 2 favorite quotes that my team will tell you about. First is, without data, it's all guesswork. And also, you can't manage what you don't measure. My Navigator seeks to solve that problem and adds in collaboration, goal setting, and document storage. Let me walk you through the entire platform so you can see for yourself. First up is the dashboard, what we're looking at right now, showing new notes, upcoming reminders, and events. Basically, just an information hub. Next up, though, is something completely new. We call it Teams, but it is essentially your care circle. We all know it takes a village, and this is your digital village. You have parents or caregivers. Right here, we just have myself, but I could easily add my spouse just by hitting the invite button. Then comes family. I know that my parents watch my 2 girls at least a couple hours every day during the week, maybe more. And that's generating a huge amount of data that can be captured and used to improve outcomes. Now, I don't want to kind of geek out on you here, so let me explain what I mean by data. What's causing outbursts? What are the eating habits, nap times, medication, anything causing a nonverbal speech? Anything that can help now, anything can help, and now your family can contribute to documenting that up as well. Next up is medical. We know with ASD diagnosis comes with comorbidities, and that comes with a number of specialists. Imagine being able to go to a doctor appointment and have all your information they requested be there before you arrive. No more banker's boxes of records, binders, etc. tests. Nope, but I'm jumping ahead. We'll talk more about it in a bit. And it's very easy. Again, just hit the invite button, a box pops up, and you can send that to your doctor. They can log in, and then you can collaborate easily online. Next up, education. Being able to directly communicate with educators so they can document what they're seeing on a daily basis. I mean, they spend a lot of time with our children, and having them to be able to access and provide notes and information is essential, or even IEPs or, anything like that. Next up, behavioral. Everybody's working with specialists, whether it's BCBAs, OTs, PTs, speech, whoever's here, we could have them listed as well. And then finally, financial. This is basically your lawyer, financial advisor, maybe somebody running a trust for you. All these people are your care circle, and now they're on your team. And now that data I mentioned, that's here under notes. Give me 1 second. You can monitor anything and everything, then share them with anyone in your care circle. As you can see here, I've got notes about bedtime. Maybe I gave Bill melatonin, an outburst. Maybe there's something that caused an outburst that I'd like to document. Dinner, exercise. I mean, anything you can think of, you can now record and then share within your care team. We also have a PDF that you can download that kind of goes through best practices as well, which will help you kind of get a better understanding. And we also have education in our curriculum that walks you through each piece of the MyHana solution. Next up is your calendar, and that's just what it sounds like. It's a calendar. You can schedule anything here. We've got upcoming reminders as well as events, and you can share those with individuals too. So if Say a family member is on here and you want to let them know that Bill's going to be at their house from 2 to 5 on Thursday. You can send it to them here as well. Next up is goal setting. Here you can see that I have both LT and ST goals listed. They stand for long-term and short-term goals. Goals are important in your life and in your child's. Having something to work towards and something to celebrate is so very important these days. As you can see here that I've got steps that you can customize. If we click on independent play, I've got 5 different steps to get to where I need to get for independent play. And again, you can share these with individuals on your care team. So maybe you have a goal about, I don't know, you want Bill to read a book by himself. You could share that with family members in case, maybe he's reading the book while you're not there. Maybe you could share it with a teacher. You could also ask your teacher to provide goals for you and share them with you so they can actually build the steps to help you get to where you need to go. We are currently in the process of building out goal templates. Now, those templates will align with the curriculum and basic goals for every child at every age. Right now, we just basically have tutorials and best practices, but again, we'll continue to improve upon this. Next up is one of our most unique features. It's basically the end of analog and the beginning of digital. Say goodbye to the binders and the banker's boxes. Imagine if every document you had could be stored digitally and shared within your care circle. HIPAA-compliant doc storage of all your records. That original diagnosis, the ones you need to provide to get every single service, it's right here at the tip of your fingers. There's more to it, though, and we really discovered it during COVID. Our founder's sister-in-law passed away and left her child on the spectrum with basically nothing. No records, no anything. So what we're talking about here is conservatorship. God forbid something happens to any of you. Then what happens to your child? My Navigator allows for that seamless knowledge transfer to the next guardian. All that data we talked about under notes gives someone a blueprint, so no one is reinventing the wheel. They understand bedtimes, they understand medication schedules, they understand everything, every day-to-day aspect of your child's life is transferred easily. And this is why we believe My Navigator is an integral tool for everyone. I mentioned COVID, and another valuable lesson COVID has taught us is something a lot of you already know about. Sometimes we can't get services. We're on a wait list, or there's a killer virus, or you can't afford the $125 hour per session. My Hana saw this as a complete failure of the system. Autism Speaks raised millions of dollars a year. Autism Society of America raises millions of dollars a year. And while they both try to help as many people as possible, there are still far too many families in need and far too many walks and golf outings to pay for salaries that are not necessary. We've developed curriculum from our faculty to educate caregivers and individuals on essential life skills and more. Let me take you there right now. Now we have from early detection up until adulthood. We have courses that will help you and your child. As you can see, it's easy enough. It's just clicking in. And I had mentioned earlier that some of our faculty are developing more granular curriculum as well. We've got our base content for all the different age groups, kind of setting you up, giving you something to do, because there's nothing worse than feeling helpless with your child. You want to help, you want to do things, but you don't know what to do. I experienced this last year when all of a sudden, my child was home from school every day, and I became an educator as well. I didn't have any of the tools. These are those tools. These are those building blocks that you can use to work with your child and help with a better outcome. And then if you see right here in progress, Dr. Jim Ball is actually producing a number of new curriculum for detection of 4-year-olds. Now we'll be doing this across all the different age groups and in all our different subjects. So as we continue to grow, our curriculum will grow with us. We've got the journey from 4 to 8, the journey 9 to 13, the journey 14 to 18. We click in there, we can see that we've already gotten this considerable amount of work done here, talking about a number of different things that's important for your children as they begin to age out. Now, in addition to that, we also have safety for children with autism. Now, this is run by Dr. Jack Scott out of FAU, and it really deals with the importance of the difference in working with a child on the spectrum as someone who's not neurodiverse. There's a lot more things that you have to be aware of, and especially for new parents. I remember when we had our girls, even getting ready for them, the safety protocols that we put in place were just, insane. Also, we've got financial understanding, resources, and entitlements. This is basically how to fill out an SSI, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Our goal is to teach everyone about federal services, then state, then local. In addition, this curriculum was designed by Scott Badish, the former CEO of the ASA. When his adult son turned 18, he had no idea what to do. Through his trial and error, you can learn what to do to help your family. So as we can see here, advocating for services, government support and SSI, pointers for our current system, and pointers for calling agencies. And we'll continue to build upon this. And a lot of this will come from you. We'll be asking the community what they want to learn and how we can help them. And in addition, we've got the next journey, ages 18 plus. We're currently developing this with a PhD out of Rutgers who dealt with the adult ASD program at the MacArthur Center. And she was tasked with helping adults, get ready for job interviews, real life work skills. And then we'd eventually like to begin a job board here to help support those people over 18. Because as we all know, just because you turned 18 and you aged out doesn't mean you're still not on the spectrum. And again, this is all just the beginning. We continue to improve upon what we're offering. We've got services now. Now, the services we have are for consulting services, for SSI, IEP, SNT. I think every parent here knows how scary it can be sometimes to go in an IEP meeting or doesn't really understand why you need a special needs trust. So these are, again, all things that we can help you out with. Deeply discounted services. A lot of the stuff is, again, free. The special needs trust, we do have a free option. The IEP, we have some curriculum education to help parents. And again, you saw the curriculum for the SSI showing parents how they can fill out all their paperwork. And then hopefully we'd like to make some other changes. We'd like to have this become such a resource for you that your profile becomes so robust that we can just take that information from your profile and help you fill out your entitlement forms, almost like a TurboTax for resources. All right, but before I get way too ahead of myself, let me show you all the people behind the curtain, making sure that your experience is flawless. I'm going to give this now to Braden. Braden, take it away.
Hey everyone, how are we? Good, good. Thank you guys again for coming, and thank you to Ven, Steve, and Nick for speaking, and to those members of our team that are not here tonight. Like Steve said, we have a lot of people behind the scenes making sure that this is a seamless transition for you onto the platform, making sure that you guys understand how to get the most out of your time with us from every product and service that we offer. So as soon as you engage with MyHana from the get-go and become a member, you'll immediately be enrolled in our weekly newsletter. What that does is it gives you guys an insight into all of the products and services that we offer, as well as information about the current state of autism in our country, as well as a lot of other motivational content and upcoming content that's soon to be released on the platform. As well, on a weekly basis, our team is also holding live Zoom sessions to answer questions from our members to help support you with onboarding, understanding how to navigate the platform as you begin to mess around with it and get familiarized with each of the tools that we offer. Our team is also clearly going to afford you an FAQ session that can answer any of those common questions, and we're going to continually be building that out to make sure that we're on top of just anything that comes up for you and any updates that might be coming to the platform soon. And then also something that we're going to be working on in the near future are our MyHana Academy videos, where we'll actually go through the platform and demo how to maximize your guys' experience with each of the curriculum and the My Navigator and all the workshops and webinars. So, and of course, if you guys ever do have any questions, our team is only a click away with our chat bot. There are automated responses, but our team really is working around the clock. Steve's getting up at 4 a.m. to answer questions and engage with our community. So 24/7 almost, we have someone that's available to answer questions if you guys click on the site and reach out. So thank you again. If you guys do have any questions, of course, just reach out and let us know.
Thanks, Braden. All right. Well, I would implore you all to please go to the site, myhana.org. There is a 30-day free trial. Use it. Give us feedback. We'd love to hear from you guys. You're the ones who really generate a lot of the content for us and kind of steer which direction we head. So that being said, I appreciate your time today, and I think Nick has a closing word for you.
All right. Thanks, Steve. What I'd like to leave everybody with is this. Number one, you saw what is a very robust and comprehensive solution. And as in my case, I use subscription memberships in various different products. I don't use most of the things that I use, I don't use the entire platform. I use bits and pieces. Bits and pieces of this may be appropriate for certain people at certain different times. So maybe it seems like a lot. What I say is use what works for you, grow into it. That's the first thing. And the last thing I'll leave you with is I've been, confronted by people when I've talked about this platform, and some people have said, well, why would I use something like this when, my hospital has an EHR, or I can log into my health at, so forth and so on. This is way, way, way beyond that. In autism and many other conditions, your providers that care for you or your child most often are not all in one hospital or one doctor service. They're spread out over numerous places. So today's EHRs and hospital portals managing a child with autism are irrelevant. They could be used for a minuscule amount. As you could see today, and what I showed you on my iPad, this goes way beyond people in a provider network. And most of the people that you will deal with on your journey will be outside of the provider network. Lifelong tool, $19.95 a month, $199 per year. We brought this to market at a spot where we believe some people can afford it, and for those who can't, we'll be working on the MyHana Foundation in the coming months and bringing this to underserved communities in a way that people in underserved communities deserve to have, just like everybody else. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and I appreciate all of your time. We're going to be hanging out here if you have any questions. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it.
Okay. One last thing. Did everybody get one of these when they were at our booth? If you didn't, you can come get one after. There's a little QR code on here you can scan, and when you scan that, it takes you right to the website to sign up. Also, the Family Cafe gets credit for this, so if you do it that way through that QR code, you can come up here and pick one up, or we can give them out to you after. And now we're going to be doing the first, does anybody have any questions before we get into the, yes?
Can you put multiple children on there?
Yes. Yes. Any other questions?
What if you have a friend that has a parent, that has parents that doesn't want to have, like, services, but you really want to support your friend with autism?
That's a good question. Have you talked to the parents?
Yeah, but they don't want any services like EPD or anything.
They don't want any services. Okay, that's a tough one. I don't know. You have your hand up. You have an answer?
Do you get a discount if you put multiple kids on there?
Good question. Flat fee no matter how many kids. So it's the same price whether if you have more than one. The platform will work with more than one.
My Tourette's kid is kind of like on a borderline of being on an autism spectrum. So
Yeah, so you can put more than one on the platform. You don't have to pay an extra for the second child. Okay. Did that answer your question about the social? I think we have. Don't we have social stuff? We do. There is some curriculum that's a social curriculum as well. So. Oh, events. Okay. Were you looking more for events or? Gotcha. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Right. Special events. I got you. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. I think we're, yes? Wait. This is my wife, by the way, so she's going to give me a hard time.
Thanks, dear. On apdcares.org, the one thing that APD has done very, 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 very well is they put together for Florida State, and this is Florida State only, and you have to remember that right now, MyHana is a national platform, okay? And the goal is to go national, then state, then local, okay? But for right now, it's national. But for Florida, apdcares.org has a resource generator. So you put in your zip code, you put in how many miles you want to go from that zip code, and you list all the categories you want. Like if you put in recreation, you're going to get every summer camp, every after-school program, every social club in your area. If you put in behavior therapist, you're going to get every behavior. This apdcares.org resource generator is amazing, but also a lot of it's kind of redundant. So like if you put in recreation, you might get canine companions to come up under that category, as well as under, assistive pets. But for anywhere in Florida, please use that for recreational resources.
Okay, thanks.
I said I would like to give a hand to the person that created this. This is amazing.
Thank you. It's been many, many years. Many times I've been in doubt, been challenged, and again, it's been a long time in the making. If the product originally that I brought, the original product that I wanted to bring to market 4 or 5 years ago, I had done it, I probably would not be here with it today. But I've always taken the time and stepped back and said, is this the best of the best of the best? And it's cost a lot of time and it's cost a lot of money by taking steps back to finally be happy with this. And I got to tell you, it's going to make for a great night with me and my wife tonight to hear you say something like that, because even she looks at me, she goes, I can't believe that you keep hanging with this. But, we tried. We think we're at the point right now that we have one of the best support things out there. I don't care what support group it is or anything. I think this is a fabulous one. I really do appreciate that compliment. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, one more, and then we're going to... I got 2 more. Hold on. I got one here, and then you.
Okay, I am a OT as well as a parent with a kid with autism. How, as a provider, does this work? Because you're saying that information, that data can be shared to the providers on your list. Right. So does the OT have like a separate login information to be able to access? How does that work?
So the parent invites the people to the team, but Steve's the tech guy, so I'll let him answer you.
So unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to really give you the other side of the coin from when we shared that. So basically, any provider, whether it's any specialist, would get this invitation from the family. When you got your invite, you click on, and you'd log into a much simpler version of the My Navigator. You wouldn't have the MyHana behind it. It would just be the My Navigator for that individual child. Now, for the lady who asked about multiple children, they would have to set up, that doctor or provider would have to set up multiple accounts. That's one of the drawbacks that we're working towards fixing. But at this time, there's nothing really out there like this. So it was let's get it started, and we can kind of work with the different families to see what they're looking for and be able to provide them next steps. So this is our toe in the water. Hopefully in 2 years, it's a much more robust on the provider side. And I think it could be actually a benefit for certain providers to say that, they're MyHANA certified or something to that note.
Significance of the name. How did you come up with that?
How did you come up with the name?
So you see the dog. Hannah was my little Maltese. And as I was losing my vision, and I needed to get around, Hannah would guide me. When I traveled by myself and I wasn't with my wife, she knew when there was a curb. She knew when there was stairs. She picked it up on her own. And, guided me through my journeys. That's how the name came up. So we were sitting this started in the College of Charleston years ago, and we're sitting around in a team, 8 of us, and Hannah was with me everywhere, and we were brainstorming a name. And Hannah was sitting on my friend Stuart's lap, and she had her chin on his laptop. And as we were talking, the room got quiet, and all we heard was, and she was snoring. And one of the girls said, well, let's name it Hannah. And I was like, well, okay, we got to put a meaning to it. So Hannah, you want to get technical, was a health advocate navigation assistant. But she guided me through my journey, and this is a journey. And that's kind of the real story behind it. And pardon me for my emotion because I lost her some time back.
You got me crying too. I think Ron, you got me crying over here.
Just a quick question about sharing documents and records, and I also couldn't agree with you more about the issues with signing up for different hospital systems or healthcare systems want you all to use their portals, and that really makes no sense. In fact, I don't use them because there's no sharing between. It's hard to, doesn't help me in any way, really. So my question, and there seems to be several questions about the sharing of records or access that providers have to our information that we upload. Is it just like a push system where, like, if you're my provider, I can send you documents? Can you, though, access other documents from other providers within my circle? No, you cannot. So it's strictly, I can share with different providers what other providers may have loaded up. Is that right?
So at this time, you can push certain documents out. You don't give them access to your entire filing cabinet. It's the individual doc to the individual person you're looking for. They also can upload certain docs, and it's a different permission system because then it'll be stored in your filing cabinet, if you will, and they'll still have access to that document since they were the original supplier.
All right. Okay. I think we've finished all the questions. Thank you. They're all great questions, and appreciate you all being here. We're going to do the drawing now. So who can we get to come up and draw?